What's going on? Vincent Rapsardi, BigBlueUnbiased.com. Thank you to those who've liked, comment, and subscribed. Really appreciate it, guys. We're really starting to add up the subscribers, so I really appreciate those who have subscribed. Make sure to turn notifications on, so every time I post, you get a notification. You can come join in on the conversation. So the last video we talked about the Giants scrimmage. They had a scrimmage on Friday. Lorenzo Carter had 3 sacks. Leonard Williams had a sack. Darnay Holmes had a pass breakup of Daniel Jones covering Sterling Shepard. Daniel Jones fumbled. Apparently didn't play so well. But it's just a scrimmage, as I talked about. It's kind of tough to truly evaluate because did Lorenzo Carter play just that great, or was the offensive line play just not very good? And even when a player plays well, that likely means the player on the other side that was going against him probably didn't play very well. So truly tough to assess a scrimmage. In this video, Logan Ryan, the Giants have signed him to a 1-year deal worth $7.5 million. Now, this was a move that needed to happen. Dave Gettleman needed to sign at least one legitimate veteran free agent defensive back. He had to do it. As I've talked about, DeAndre Baker, he's not playing. Sam Beal has opted out. Xavier McKinney has a fractured foot. So they needed to get a veteran player in their secondary. They needed to add some depth to their secondary. As I've also talked about, you need a good secondary in today's NFL. The top 5 teams in pass defense EPA last year were 57 and 23. Of the bottom 16 teams in that category, only 4 made the postseason. You need to be good against the pass. I'm not saying Logan Ryan is Stephon Gilmore, but at least he's something, right? Last year, Logan Ryan had over 100 tackles. He had 4.5 sacks. He had 4 interceptions. He was 3rd in the league in passes defended. He allowed a passer rating of around 88, so he's a productive NFL player. At the same time, it doesn't completely fill a need in terms of perimeter outside corner. Can Logan Ryan play there? I'm sure he could. But at the same time, he's known more to be a slot safety kind of guy. So that brings up Prince Amukamara, who was released by the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, he signed for less than $2 million, so if the Giants were to sign Prince Amukamara, it's not like they're going to have to pay very much. Last year, Amukamara struggled. He allowed 14 yards per completion, a passer rating of about 105, did not have a very good season, but the year before that, a passer rating of 75, allowed 11.8 yards completion, so he's just a year away from playing very well. He was a very productive player in 2018, struggled in 2019, and he really fills a need in the outside perimeter corner department. And as I've said, as I continue to say, you need to be good in the secondary. Not that Prince Amukamara is going to be Stephon Gilmore, but he's been, he's a veteran corner who has been productive in his career. He's shown that he can be a starter, and you can trust him. Especially on the outside when you're going to face a lot of good wide receivers out there. A lot of good wide receivers out on the perimeter. It's a little bit easier kind of to find a slot corner kind of guy. There's not as much space in the slot, so it's a little bit easier to cover guys. But when you're out there kind of on an island on the perimeter, it's a tough position. You got to be good at that position. That's why the acquisition of James Bradberry was huge. And if you look at Friday's scrimmage, Corey Ballentine appeared to be the starter on the outside opposite Bradberry. Now look, Ballentine last year, passer rating of 126, allowed 4 touchdown passes, 14.6 yards per completion. He was not very good. Not that he can't take the next step and progress as a young player, but to just go out and be like, okay, he's the starter, week 1, you can trust him, that's tough. That's a tough position to put a player who struggled. He was a 6th-round pick. I mean, not that he can't progress and become a starting player, but struggled, 6th-round pick. You don't expect that much out of a 6th-rounder to just go in and start at a very tough position. Like I said, when you're out there on the perimeter, your corner, there's a lot of space you got to cover. So it is not an easy position to put a player like Corey Ballentine, young player who really did not play well last year. Now, getting back to the Logan Ryan move, this was something that needed to happen. They needed to add a quality veteran defensive back. There's also a reason he was still available. Obviously, he is not one of the best cornerbacks, and he's not a lockdown cornerback in the NFL. He's not Richard Sherman. He's a good player, but there is still a reason he was available, so you can't expect too much out of him. You can hope that he can start here and there and give you meaningful snaps, but the expectations also need to be realistic. What's also interesting about the addition of Logan Ryan is that he can play safety, so this gives them the option to play Julian Love on the perimeter if they want to. We've talked about Darnay Holmes. Many people have been impressed with the way he's played during camp. Played pretty well, it seemed like, in the scrimmage on Friday, so they can play him in the slot. So this Logan Ryan edition really gives them a few more options. So that's all I got. Vincent Rapsardi, BigBlueUnbiased.com. Thank you to those who've liked, comment, and subscribed. I really appreciate it, guys. Make sure to turn notifications on and follow me on Twitter at Vince Rapsardi. Thank you. Again, Vincent Rapsardi, BigBlueUnbiased.com.